Thank God, finally. What the fuck?
What the fuck did you guys make me read?
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. How you doing? I just want to say I appreciate you guys being here. Today, we are going to talk about arguably one of the most disgusting books I've ever read. Not disturbing wise, just gross. Makes me uncomfy. This is, I guess, my introduction to dark romance, which I didn't know this was dark romance, and I picked it up because my girlfriend's cousin was talking about the book, how great it is, and I'm like, okay, I gotta read this. And then I read it and I'm like, what in God's name am I reading? And that is Credence. I think a lot of people know Credence. I think a lot of people understand why I am saying it's disgusting. It is very disgusting. This is the first time I think you guys have ever seen me have sticky notes in my book. I stopped halfway because there was just disgusting things about this book. I'm gonna sum it up. I'm not gonna do the summary. I'm gonna sum it up. Girl, Tierna, family dies. Uncle that she's never met takes her in because in her father's will that he is the guardian, which is just doesn't make sense to me. She goes to Colorado in the middle of nowhere with this man she has never met, and guess what? There's two other men out there, his sons. They are about her age, but she's 17, so it's okay. And they like to remind you about that a lot, but things get really weird because they are in the middle of the mountains of Colorado, and guess what? When it snows, they can't get out. So Credence is pretty gross. Yeah, I don't know how else to start off with this, but it's a very gross book. And like I said, I wrote down a lot of questions in this book on my notes. I went kind of hard. I had to put down a lot of things to remind me of the grossness. I did this when I was reading Wheel Time, not for the gross stuff, just notes for Wheel Time, because Wheel Time was a lot. Now this book was a lot, but not in a good way. My biggest question of it all is, like, especially right at the beginning of this book, is why her parents off themselves. They did like a together unaliving themselves, and she sees it. And she's 17, she's just a young girl. Her parents send her, like, when her parents died, apparently, like, her guardian is her father's stepbrother. So this makes it fun, because she's not actually related to these people. And then when you start reading the book, it's just such an uncomfortable thing, and it's just disgusting. Like I said, I put, like, notes in here to, like, really talk about it, and I even marked down some chapters, and I'm like, oh my God. I just was like, oh man, there is our couch scene, you know, and it was uncomfy. I almost DNF'd the book. There's a lot of times where I almost DNF'd this book. She gets sent to her uncle's house. And like I said, it just doesn't make sense because her parents are like very rich, and she has like an assistant. Like her parents had this assistant that has been with her since she was 10. So to me, I'm like, why don't the assistant like take guardianship at least over her instead of this complete stranger? And when she goes out to his cabin, it's okay at first. I'm like, okay, this isn't too weird. It gets a little sus, but it's not too weird. Like she describes how she thinks he's kind of like an attractive uncle. But I'm like, it's fine. They're not related. It's fine. And then it doesn't become fine because slowly you start peeling the onion of how gross this book really is. And it really, I just don't understand. I went on TikTok because I was like, all right, does people actually like this book? I had to figure it out. And TikTok is lying to me because it's like 50-50. There's people that love this book and there is people that do not. And I am on that page of like, yeah, I don't know why people would like this book. I don't understand because it's really gross. And the weird thing is I have to put this out there because I put this in my notes. Why? What is, like, Penelope Douglas might have some beef with small town folk. I grew up in a small town. I'm going to tell you guys, this does not actually happen in a small town. So when Tierna, I think that's how you pronounce her name, but when Tierna shows up to the small town, all the dudes and even the girls are like super into her. Like they just want to like bang her. Or, well, they want to grape her, I should say. It makes no sense to me why they want, like, their obsession with her is just so bizarre that it just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Me growing up in a small town, when there was, like, a new girl or a new dude that showed up, nobody was like, I gotta bang this person. I have to. None of us thought like that, and it's just weird that this book is so obsessed with doing that. There's been times where Tierna would go on her own, and some of these men would, like, want to, like, do things to her, like some essay or grape her, and it's like the brothers would, like her cousins would like prevent it, but then they would tell her, I don't know how we're gonna resist ourselves for the winter, because all they do is just bang before winter comes, and then they can't. So it's just when winter happens, the dad and the two boys are just chilling and hanging out. And then people are telling Tierna that you have to be careful. You're stuck with them all winter. And it's like, oh my God, dude, are you saying what I think you're going to be saying? And the truth of the matter is, yeah, it happens. But it's just so weird because it's very predatorial where all three of them are just waiting until she is 18. And once she hits 18, that's when things get really bizarre. Now, there's a kitchen scene before she's 18 that she kind of does things with her uncle, which is just weird for me to say out loud. Granted, it's not like her uncle. It's like her uncle, but not like by blood. So theoretically, yes, it's not weird. She will say such weird things to him. And in the book, she says weird things and calls him uncle after she says something sexual. Like, no joke, I'm pretty sure it was the second chapter. Let's see. I got it somewhere in here. Alright, there's a scene. This is the second chapter where Jake, the uncle, asks Tierna, you know how to ride? He asks. And she says, she doesn't say it out loud, but in her head she says, horses or question mark? I just not assuming he means horses. Why in God's name would that be in your head? Penelope, are you okay? I just need to know. That is one of the many things. Like I said, I have so many things in here. So in chapter 2, right before it ends, she calls him uncle, right? And he says, you don't have to call me uncle. He says, I'm not really anyway, right? But before I can answer, he clicks his tongue to call the dogs. They follow him out and he pulls the door closed, leaving me alone. I stand there, still, but the nerves under my skin fire. One phone call, a coach seat, and 4 states later, it finally occurs to me, I don't know these people. Yeah, no duh, you don't know these people. Like, you've been there for 2 days? It's just, this book is very disturbing, and there's just so many signs that just made me uncomfortable throughout. And it's not really uncomfortable like when I'm reading like a disturbing book and I'm like, ooh, I'm uncomfy. This is just gross. And like I said, there's a lot of scenes. So you have characters named Jake is the uncle, Noah is one of the sons, and then you have Caleb. I have to put this out there. Caleb is like how she wrote him. She made him like he definitely is the mysterious guy. But the first time Tierna meets him, he almost grapes her because all he does is like an animal instinct. So before you meet him, the whole time they're talking and they're like, oh, well, Caleb lives upstairs, but he's not here right now. And you're like, okay, where the hell is Caleb? And Caleb one night, because Tierna is going to leave. And I was like, oh, finally, which I knew she wasn't going to, because I was only like 50 pages into this book, and it's like almost 500 pages. Caleb shows up in the garage with a deer over his shoulders. He's shirtless with blood running down his chest. And Tierna's like, ooh, yeah. But she's also like, who the hell is this? And Caleb doesn't say a word to her at all. But he like sees her. He cleans himself off and he starts coming to her and he's just trying to do things to her. And she's like, no, stop. Also, she's like, I want this. And then she's also like, no, stop. It's so messed up. And then Noah luckily goes in there because I did not want to read what I thought was going to happen. Noah like pulls him away, right? And he's like, sorry. Caleb just has this animal instincts. I'm like, are we cavemen here? Like, what do you mean? Animal instincts? This is so disgusting. And just the way that she has, like, no joke. No, I'm not even kidding. Like, I thought it was just gonna be the men, but even the women in these books are so far gone. I'm like, what is wrong with this woman? Why is this book so disgusting like that? Why is every single character in this book is just wanting this girl? Why? And it's like I said, it's just weird to picture that everyone here is waiting until she's 18 and then things are gonna get frisky. And when she turns 18, she does not hold back. There was a scene, I'm not gonna go into too much detail. There's the living room scene or the couch scene, whichever one you prefer, where winter has happened and they're not leaving, right? The two boys are watching some adult films, right? And so Tierna joins them and they start doing things to each other. The two boys start doing things to her, and then the dad is like, hey, you guys need to get out of here, and he punishes her. And I'm like, oh. So after I read that whole scene, I was like, all right, bro, I'm gonna have to DNF this book. but I didn't because of YouTube. Yeah, I don't want to go into more details, but this book is absolutely disgusting. I have, like I said, halfway through this book, I marked things. I literally could have marked almost every page. After probably, besides chapter 1, I could probably mark every single one of these. And the book does the thing where she's like, she could have left. She literally could have left. She could have went with her assistant who offered for her to live with her. But then she said to her assistant's like apartment's like too small for the two of them. And I'm like, is it though? You know, like her assistant could have been in charge of all of it. And then Jake literally could have just, he even offered like, yeah, if you leave, that's fine. Like he wasn't trying to stop her, but then he also like, then you would get to his POV chapter and he's like, I need her because she's so young. And I'm like, oh, it just blows my mind that this book, like people, like women love this book. And I don't know why, because it's just so many red flags. Like to me, it's like, man, if this was like a horror novel, people would be like, dude, this is a disturbing ass book. Because it is. It literally could have been a horror novel and it's just been like, yeah, that makes sense. But this book is disgusting. If I had to rate it out of 5 or 10, I'd give it like maybe a 1. I think I gave it a 2 out of 5 on Goodreads. I've never given a book a 1 star yet, so, and I was like, does this deserve a 1 star? Probably. Now I might re-rate it and put it as a 1 because this book was god awful. It was just a really disgusting book and I would not recommend it to anyone. I just wanted to talk about it because, like I said, when I heard about it, I was like, all right, I'll read it. Because I had no idea what I was reading going into this book. I had no idea what I was reading. I thought it was going to be like, I was told it's just a dark romance. So I thought it was just going to be like a cute little romance with a little edginess. It was the opposite. It was super edgy. All the characters are creepy, edgelord dudes that like are basically like counting down the days for this girl to be 18. And this girl's just, it's just a lot. It's a lot. Okay. And I just did not like it. I'd prefer Colin Hoover books over this any day of the week. I prefer Twilight over this book any day of the week. Twilight is just fun to read. It's a little cringy, but it's fun. This is just super edgelord, disgusting stuff. If you guys made it to the end of the video, what do you guys think about Credence? Did you guys read Credence? Or if you have not, I would recommend not reading it. If you have read it, what do you guys think? What was the most uncomfortable scene for you guys for Credence? If you comment down below, just put down a chapter. I'll know which one you're talking about. And of course, make sure you guys stay safe, stay humble, and tell someone you love them. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay weird.